sponsored by Barrie Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everyone. CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barrie Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barriecullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email the dealership at info@barriecullen.com. Barrie Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969, and yours truly has been a customer of Barrie Cullen Chevrolet for the last 25 years and counting. I hope everyone's doing well on this Friday, April 11th, 2025, and I'm looking forward to today's show. I met my guest through TikTok, and this is her first appearance on our show, and we're going to bring her on 1 minute. And her name is Lindsay Benavides. Hopefully I had that right. Sales representative with the Jennifer Jones team and EXP Realtor in Barrie, Ontario. And we're going to talk a little bit about real estate today and in the Barrie, Ontario market as well. So good afternoon, Lindsay. How are you doing?
I'm good, Chris. How are you?
Good. I hope I got your last name right.
You did.
Okay. I take really great pride in getting my guests' names right, first names and last names right as well.
That's great.
How are you doing, and how are things in Barrie after that ice storm knocked out a lot of hydro and power in that area?
Yes. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Everything was pretty much on a standstill here during the ice storm. It did knock out power, and yeah, we were down for about a day and a half, which is not really as bad as other people. But yeah, no, everything is good now. We're back in business. And yeah, just trying to help people out get into their first home if they're looking for one.
Most of the area now have most of the power and hydro back then, I guess?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes. As
okay.
far as I know, everyone has their power up.
So how much did that affect your work for a day and a half?
Luckily, I was able to do other things behind the scenes that didn't require me to get internet access. So I was okay. I do know that there are so many places around here that were like schools were closed for a good part of the week. So being in a home with kids and no electricity is pretty tough, and it was really, really cold as well. So that was tough. It kind of makes you think about, wow, how lucky we are because we do take for granted certain things like light and heat. And during that power storm or that storm, basically the ice storm, it just really brings you back to, your it humbles you. You realize that all you really need is to be with family, make sure you have warmth, either some blankets and candles for light and food as much as you can. And just, don't lose your patience. A lot of people, especially the younger ones, were really losing their patience with the electricity because they wanted to get back onto either their streaming or their gaming, but it was actually not terrible. I know for some people, I can't speak for everyone. For some people, it really did hit them hard. In Aurelia, there were many people who had their basements and their crawl spaces flooded, completely flooded. And up to last week, they were still cleaning that up. So that's really unfortunate. Hopefully all those people affected are in a better position now, but luckily it's done, and hopefully that's the end of it, and spring will be coming soon, I'm hoping.
It's been a long winter in southern Ontario and Guelph this year. I had about 4.5 feet of snow on my lawn, and I haven't remembered that much snow here in many years. So we have had a real winter here this year, and everybody's shocked about March and April. But I always told people winter used to go from the end of October, beginning of November to April, and the last couple of years, due to whatever global warming and stuff, it hasn't been that bad of a winter, but this year we definitely got it. Have to ask you this, Lindsay, since I have you on, and I'm not sure you can answer this question, but for people that suffered home damage and stuff like that with their homes in the Barrie area, does home insurance or house insurance cover that?
It would depend on the policy you have, but generally speaking, yes, there should be some type of coverage through your insurance. I'm hoping that if it's not just, the general type of insurance, of course, I can't really speak on the policies that they have, but generally speaking, yes, they are protected. Of course, it all depends, right? But for sure, the people who have had the flooding in the areas like in Aurelia, if they have insurance, there hopefully is some coverage there. If not, all of it has been covered.
What do you like the most about living and working in the Barrie area?
Oh gosh. So let me tell you, born and raised in Toronto, I've always been a city girl. I always thought nothing is going to take me out of Toronto. I love Toronto because I have access to everything. I even though I had my license since I was 16, I could drive. I really didn't need a car because, you have so much. There's a TTC and you can just hop on a bus, on the subway at any time. And so I loved it. And unfortunately, though, it was getting very expensive. And when I wanted to buy a home, I was being priced out. It was too much for me. My sister was already moving in Barrie. She moved to Barrie. So I would come up and visit her, and I liked Barrie, but I could never see myself living further north from Toronto. It was just, to me, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be living within farms. But once I found a home up here, and it took an adjustment, I'm not going to lie, because going from a big city like Toronto to Barrie, which is a smaller type city, it's growing now, but this is 10 years ago. It was much smaller, and it was a big adjustment for me. But now I love it. I go back to Toronto, obviously, for, business and family, but that's a big change for me. I know I can't live in Toronto, unfortunately. It seems so chaotic to me. Barrie is much more of it has grown. I'm not going to lie. In the last 5 years, it's exploded, especially after COVID or during COVID. But it's just much more slow paced, I think. You see a lot more green. There's more trees. I'm right by the lake. I'm not even 10 minutes away from the lake here. So I think it's more of a toned down type of a city. So you can just go to the lake and take a walk there. And it's more of a quieter area, I think. I mean, the downtown area, of course, like any downtown area, can get busy, especially in the weekends. But I love Barrie. It's a big change, but I would not go back to Toronto to visit. Yes, to live, I'm not sure. It's a bit too much for me. It's now that I'm at an older age, I prefer living in the outskirts of Toronto.
I do some media coverage for the Toronto Argonauts, being based out of Guelph. And what I normally do is I just drive to Burlington and take the GO train into Toronto because it's so much easier than the stress and the hassle of driving down there, getting stuck in traffic, then having to deal with ridiculous parking prices. So for me, going to Toronto, the GO train is the biggest thing. And also, too, I moved to Guelph in 1981, and it was only 49,000 people back then. And now the city is over 160,000, and real estate has shot up big time here. Is Barrie similar to Guelph in terms of population, and the real estate market has really gone really has grown over even the past 10 years.
Yes. Definitely not as big as Guelph, but especially like I said, right during the pandemic is when people started to come in flows to Barrie or the areas around Barrie. And ever since, it's just been this population growth. And I feel like there is a need for more affordable housing. Obviously, in Toronto, that's really hard. It's a bit more affordable coming further north, and Barrie tends to be one of the hot spots up here. It's a bigger city than if you go to Innisfil, Alliston, or Oro, like any of those other little towns. So it's bigger than them, yet smaller than Toronto. So it's like a happy medium. We're also right by two GO stations. There's a Allendale and the South Barrie. So it's actually in such a great position right now because it is growing so much more. And Innisfil, which is right by Barrie, is also going through that population growth. And I'm not sure if you heard that there will be this tech hub that will be growing and coming into Innisfil. It may take 20, 30 years. Obviously, these things take time to grow, but they are thinking of adding another GO station that's going to stop in Innisfil because currently it goes from Bradford to Barrie. So they're thinking of adding another station there, and around that station, there's going to be 5 different communities are going to be built and also tech hubs. So they're trying to bring more investors up this way from Toronto, and it's just going to continue to grow up here. And I think between Toronto and Barrie and in Innisfil, once it starts to, get up there with technology, I think these 3 areas are just going to continue to grow so much. But this is, I think, one of the best areas to be in because things are growing around us as well. And it's a bit more affordable than Toronto, and there's more nature out here. And I honestly, for myself at least, being around nature, around the lake and hiking trails, all that just really does center me. And I think it's necessary. We're all so busy nowadays that we tend to forget to take that time for ourselves to just take a breather and be with nature because it does really give you that, that effect of calmness. So I love Barrie, and just being up here close to nature is what helps me I guess balance out because being in real estate can be a very challenging and tough industry. So it does help being with around nature.
Wanted to ask you this: how far is Barrie from Toronto time wise? Is it about an hour drive?
It's about an hour depending where you're from. I can get to like the edge, like Western Road, that area, Western Road and 401. I could get from there to my home, which is right off the 400 in Mapleview, within like 45 minutes. If I'm like not stopped by traffic. But yeah, within, 45 minutes to an hour. So really it's not a big drive, a long drive, and but it's such a big difference. Coming from Toronto to Barrie, you'll see it's more of a calm town. Of course, there is, the usual traffic and occasionally because we do have in the summer a lot of festivals that go on. So that is the busy time up here in Barries, and people also going up the 400 to, go to their cottages. That's when it's the busiest. But apart from that, like the daily here, it is very just, it's a calm community.
What's tourism like in Barrie right now, too? Especially being on the way to Cottage Town, College area.
Yeah. So tourism in Barrie is at its peak in the summer, but there is still because there's a lot of there's skiing trails and there's the Friday Harbor. There's a lot of year-round type of entertainment as well and sports. But I want to say that the summer is when it's so busy here. As soon as Friday hits, Friday afternoon, there's traffic everywhere. because there are people that are driving through Barrie to go to their cottage, but at times they stop off because there's the Costco up here, right? So they'll stop off at Costco, and then while they're at Costco, they'll stop by and look at because the lake is just like not even 15 minutes from the Costco. They'll stop by the lake and take a look at, the lake there because the beach is beautiful. It's just so it does get pretty busy. I'm not gonna lie. In the summer, it's pretty busy, but it's worth it. That's why for me, living in Barrie and being so close to that, I can walk to the lake if I want to. It would take me about half an hour, but I can walk there and just enjoy everything, the scenery and all that.
From what you're describing to me of Barrie, I've never been to Barrie. It sounds like it's a bigger version of Owen Sound, but very similar, but just a little bit bigger than Owen Sound.
Yeah, I actually haven't been to Old Sound, but I had friends that were from there, and yeah, they described it similar. Just a nice town by the lake, and you really do have to come up, Chris. Come up and
Yes.
take a look for yourself one day because there's so much to see. But I would suggest in the summer or spring once the weather's better. So being in the snow belt area, unfortunately, we do get quite more snow than in Toronto, right? So it's here we can leave with a jacket and your snow boots. It'll be nice and warm at, 1, but then you never know when you're going to get the snow again. You'll probably come back to snow in the afternoon. It's pretty much like that especially during the winter season. So yeah, I'd stick to coming and visiting in the summer.
Similar weather to Buffalo, which I've been to many times. And one thing about me, and I shouldn't be saying this on here, but I've been to more of the states than my own country, and I really should start traveling around Ontario and around Canada more than the other country. We'll get at it. We'll stay out of the politics, but I would
Yes.
like to get. I would like to travel around Ontario more and around Canada because there's a lot of places around here are so great. And I guess I just spent so much time down in the states. I kind of forgot about Ontario and the rest of Canada.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually part of a number of different groups on Facebook, and I am using Facebook quite a lot because of social media, because of my realtor business, but I also have joined the groups that have to do with like destinations within Ontario, within Canada, but mainly Ontario, where they tell you the best places for waterfalls to go see the waterfalls and best places for specific type of restaurants. But honestly, there are so many different gems in Ontario that I still have to discover myself. But I suggest doing that. Like go on Facebook and take a look at what people suggest. There's so many nice different beaches. Like just within Barrie, there are so many different little beaches that you can just discover yourself by just going around the lake, and yeah, I can't say enough about Ontario. I love Ontario. I've always wanted to continue visiting other parts of Canada. Haven't had the chance to go all the way to the west or the east. But yeah, definitely take a nice ride this summer if you can throughout Ontario. There's a lot of nice little places you can visit.
And Barrie is also the home of the Barrie Colts of the OHL and the Barrie Bay Cats of the Intercounty Baseball League. So I'm going to maybe try to do some intercounty baseball games this year, and that'll give me an excuse to come up to Barrie.
There you go. Now you have those excuses. Come over and say hi.
Absolutely. Hey, Lindsay, since I'm based out of Guelph, can you tell my audience a little bit about yourself and share your story about switching careers later in life?
Sure. So, like I said, born and raised in Toronto. So, I've always had some type of an office job. My Before being a realtor, I worked for a music licensing company. I was with them for about 10 years. And then when the pandemic hit, like many people, there were some that were laid off. Yeah, same here, right? So I had no job. At that point, I didn't know what to do with myself. And luckily, someone mentioned to me, I know you like homes. I love to watch, by the way, all those the shows that they show about changing up the homes and what does this home look like in Australia and all those type of things. So then someone mentioned that I should consider real estate. And that's what happened. So during the pandemic, I did I went through the courses, the Humber College courses for to become a realtor. Um, Unfortunately, around that time, my dad passed away, so that put a bit of a halt in my journey. But I got
I'm so sorry for
right
your
back
loss.
on. Thank you. He's actually the inspiration as well. He's always talked to me about he always wanted to be a realtor, but here I am now. I'm a realtor. I've been doing this for over for 2 years, and I love every minute of it. It's for me finding that I can help people get to their goals, achieve their goals, is what brings me, that bit more of the inspiration, because once I see that they're happy with their purchase and they were able to achieve it, because it is a big achievement for some people. I mean, I know that my parents, they're immigrants, right, from South America, and it was hard for them to first know how to even start the process of looking for a home and to put their trust in someone, because this is a big decision. You're going to be putting in a lot of money. Unfortunately, they, especially back in the day, this is, towards the end of the 80s when they bought their first home in Toronto, they didn't really know exactly how to do this. They were guided by an agent who, unfortunately, didn't have my parents' interests at heart, really. And so they had a very bad experience, to say the least. They were stuck with a home that they basically, at the end, when they finally had to sell, or when they sold, they ended up losing money. So the point is, I found that finding the right person to guide you during such an important decision is so important, super important. So that, in combination with, me having no job, just fueled that desire to want to help people in this respect. So I decided, I'm going to help as much as I can. I want to, some realtors, they give us a bad name because, they may not be, as honest, I want to say. I don't want to talk bad about all realtors. We are great. But, unfortunately, there are some bad apples. And so I decided, because of that journey and my parents went through, and I saw how challenging it was, right? The entire time. So I thought, I am going to help people. And so that is my mission, is to help as many people get into their first home to start building generational wealth. So that is my journey. And I started real estate after 40, which to me is like, now I look back and I am so proud of myself, because that's huge. It's I have had talks with other people who, have asked what it's like to start again after 40. And because some people are stuck in, possibly in jobs that they don't like. They want to make a change, but they're thinking, I'm hitting whatever age, it's probably too late for me. And it's not, you know. I think it's too late if you never make that decision for yourself, so that you can actually find that you have your passion, and you continue it in whatever job it is that you want to be in, right? So I am thankful that that door closed for me when it did, because I think if I hadn't been pushed myself to actually get out of, having the comfy 9 to 5 job, then I would not be where I am today. I would have stayed there. But yeah, it's all this to say, if you are able to make the leap to start again, no matter what age, just go for it, because you could be happier than you ever think you could have been, right? Instead of stuck where you may not be happy. So yeah, that's a lot about me. Sorry. think I went on too long.
No, no, that's okay. No, and that's what I love about this show is the storytelling aspect and the learning aspect. And sometimes I meet guests I've never met before, and their stories are very similar to mine because I kind of was pushed out the door during the pandemic, and I ended up doing some volunteer work for a basketball team, which led to me doing cable work or camera work. Which led to my podcast. And I had people snicker at me, oh, you're going to start a podcast or a talk show or a new career at 47 and a half. And I just decided this is what I wanted to do. My last career did prepare me for this because I had to deal with a lot of people and people that from all kinds of backgrounds. So I had to learn how to talk, listen, think on my feet. And during the pandemic, that's when I knew I wanted to switch careers. And this is something I love to do. And I don't call it work. When you enjoy something that you do, it's called a passion. And Lindsay, just speaking to you so far, I can tell how passionate you are and how you like to help people get into their homes and stuff. Like I like bringing guests on here to share their stories with our audience as well.
Yes, definitely, definitely. For me, it's more of a passion of helping in any way I can. Like I'm not sure if you saw through my social media pages that you've probably looked at, but I also have like a little project on the side as well, where I have a monthly coffee session with women of Latin women of my community up here in Barrie. I started it. It will be a year, and it's so wonderful and successful. So my whole point of this coffee that I have monthly is really to bring women together because I found a lot of the people that moved from Toronto were also, Latin of some sort. And so I thought I want to reach out to my people because I feel like there is some type of a disconnect where I would encounter women in the supermarket speaking Spanish or in the library or on the street. And they were so surprised that there are so many Spanish speaking people here because they haven't been able to actually been in community anywhere. So I thought, let me start something because I have a mom that is actually, I live with here with my mom. We have a home together, and I thought I would love for her to also get to know other Spanish speaking women here. So that's how I started this group, thinking of my mother and other women in this area that want to, just be closer together and maybe do some fun stuff. So this monthly sessions or the workshops really that I have, we come together, we everyone brings a little snack that we share, but we also do some type of a craft, right? And we have a moment where I introduce everyone and we get to know each other, and it just builds this big group of community and support. And I've been able to help women connect with each other in where they've been able to help each other with jobs, right? And connect with other type of entrepreneurs or business leaders or business people who are able to help them in any which way. So for me, that I think that is just even fuels more of that passion that I have for helping the community. So that is like a project I have on the side, but it keeps me busy and I would not trade it for the world. It's so like I said, yeah, it's just about helping people and helping them be successful in any way that they want. And being part of people's journey is just what makes me feel the happiest and fills my cup every day.
And I have it on my graphics about one of your events too, down on my graphics as well. And where can people find this group on social media, Facebook especially?
Yeah, I do post it on my socials. I post it on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. Those are really the only platforms I'm on. But if you want to look me up, Lindsay Benavides, or in Spanish, I'll give you the name of of the group. It's Café de la Casa, which means coffee of the house or house coffee, I guess, sort of. Because basically, this is what I host in my own home. It started with a small group of women, and it's grown. Now I have some people on wait lists because I could only like afford to have like 25 women in my home at one time because there's only so much space I have in my home. But yeah, so it's grown, and every month there's always someone new that comes and joins this group, and it's so wonderful to see how people have been, apart from me being the point of contact, they're connecting themselves and doing things on their own and helping each other out. It's just so wonderful to see.
I wanted to ask you this as well. Is the Latino community growing in Barrie? And how important is it as a real estate agent or realtor to be able to be bilingual as well?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So the importance, I think, is key to be able to speak the language. Yes, the Latino population in Barrie has grown a lot. And for that reason, I've come to speak more in Spanish when I'm dealing with the women of this specific coffee group, or I also do some posts that are on social media in Spanish as well. And I think the main thing is people feel more comfortable when you talk in their language. Um, and I find that they have more comfort and more they find value when you're able to explain things in their language, right? I could explain to someone that speaks Spanish in English something very general, but at the same time, even though it's general, it may not really register the right way. But just speaking to someone like in my community in Spanish, it really does help. It helps guide them. And it gives them the liberty to feel comfortable with me where they're texting me, for any question that they may have. I'm seen as a resource now, not just for real estate, but putting people together, connecting people. And I feel like it's definitely important whether you speak Spanish, French, Italian, if you hone that second language and make that as part of your niche, you'll definitely grow in that sector there because it's needed, right? I mean, everyone here speaks English in Canada. I mean, the majority. Um, but having a taste of someone who can talk with you in your language and feeling like, okay, I could connect with this person, it just makes a big difference. When I originally started real estate, I was not doing anything to do with Spanish because first I wasn't really I the only people I talked Spanish with was my grandmother, right? Once you're here, all you do is speak English. But then I didn't have much success, I guess. It was for me, I felt like any other realtor that spoke English. It was just I didn't stand out and I couldn't find someone that I can help, someone that could connect with me, right? But once I started communicating more my what I want to do, my passions in Spanish, and I was connecting more with people who spoke Spanish, I found that I was able to find a community and a sense of pride in the fact that I can help these people in their language, and people will come to me for questions just about anything, right? And I feel honored to be able to help in that language. So it's, yeah, definitely. If you have another language, speak it whenever you can because it will help that person. Just helping one person to me is enough. I could, so if you can help two, three people, it's amazing to be able to do that.
I'm going to put you on the spot with this question. What's one word to describe yourself as a real estate agent?
Integrity. For me, I have also because I bought my own house, right? So I've been through the other side. Before I became a realtor, I bought a house and um although it was, it was a shocking experience because as someone who doesn't really at that point didn't really know much about real estate, it was a big deal. Again, having someone on your side that actually understands you and is there to um have your interests at heart helps tremendously. That to me, when I bought my first or my house up here in Barrie, it was also another experience that left me with a very bad taste in my mouth. So that then thinking about years ago, my parents' experience with another realtor, that to me, it stood out to me. And I figured, people deserve better. Um, I think integrity should be at the top of a list of anyone who's in, working with the public or anyone who's in business. Integrity should be at the top. And so I'm also the type of person who I speak with honesty. So I thought you have to be transparent. You need to be honest. People need that because there's so much out there in the world that's just people are, money hungry. So I wanted to be that person, and I feel like that's how I lead when I talk with people, when I guide them. It's with integrity. And I also have I have a son, and I think I want to be a good example to him. So that's how I always, do everything every day is with integrity, with honesty, and trying to be transparent in everything I do. Because the last thing I want is for someone to say, well, you didn't do this correctly because you were dishonest, because that is not a part of me. And I do not want to be that type of a realtor. So I think integrity. That was a long explanation, but integrity.
For those people that are watching this show live stream or on audio, and whether they're in Barrie or they're in Ontario or wherever country, and they're looking for a real estate realtor agent or an agency, what are some keys to finding a good one and some ones that you might want to stay away from?
Definitely. So I think the key thing is wherever you're looking to move, find a realtor who is in that area, who is local, a local realtor. So if you're in Toronto and looking to move to, I don't know, Ajax, find a realtor that is in Ajax, that lives there, that knows the neighborhoods, because that will make a big difference. There have been people who have moved from Toronto to Barrie, and I've heard that they've moved not knowing much about Barrie. It is beautiful, but like with every city, there are some areas that are better than others. And so I've heard of a couple who was placed in an area. Yes, the price point is cheaper, but it is for a reason. And they hate it. And that's because the realtor was from Toronto. They didn't know what the better areas of Barrie are and what, the not so great areas of Barrie are. And that's something that you should always take with you, is make sure that the person that you are working with knows the area. That's one main thing. Another thing is referrals. If I if someone approaches me to go look at a place in Hamilton, that is not my market, right? So I would not take that client on myself. I would refer it to someone else who is in that area, because that is how it would best, um, you know, it's the best for that person. I would not take on that client because I don't know Hamilton. I would say it's a red flag if someone from Toronto goes on and takes someone, someone that wants to buy in Hamilton and shows them around, because that person more than likely does not know much about that market. Usually, when you're in real estate, you're in that market and you know your area, right? So you are a professional of your area. So I think if someone does not want to refer someone, let's say if they want to go to Montreal and you go ahead and take it, you may be doing a disservice to that person because you don't know that area very well. So it's important to have someone who's able to be honest with you and say, you know what? I don't know that area. I will find you someone who's an expert and will be able to take you to the areas that I think you will be happy with. So those are my thoughts there.
Since I have you on, Lindsay, I wanted to bring this up with you too, because I've seen it lately where people are now selling their own homes, saying they'll save money doing it that way. Your thoughts on people doing it themselves?
Yes. So, um, for those who may want to just go ahead and sell on their own, there's like buyers beware, basically. There could be people who could be, unfortunately, scammers. I don't want to, put fear into anybody, but unfortunately there are people out there that are like that, right? There are people who basically do some form of illegal practices that may use that money to purchase a home. You don't want to be involved in that type of thing, right? So I think when you're selling a home on your own, there's a lot of homework that you would have to do to make sure that the people that you are selling a home to are legally able to purchase that home and not, I don't know, money laundering, because that is a big thing, unfortunately. And you also want to make sure that you compare how much you are going to pay. Let's say at once the home goes up for sale, you have to dish out money for marketing. You have to put in time to do the open houses yourself to be able to be there when someone needs to see the home. And if you work, I mean, I don't know many people that are able to just leave work to show a home during a specific time if someone can only see during the day. Um, there's so many different variables. The point is, a lot of times when people want to sell on their own, they think it's because they can get the most out of that home, but they fail to see that maybe the price that they have in mind may be overvalued. Because obviously, when someone is selling their home is their most valued possession, right? There's no home better than mine. But when you see it with a different perspective, like in a realtor's eye, we do a price comparison of all the homes in the area and try to find homes that are at par with your home. And that, to me, is usually the value of the home. Once you overprice a home, it'll stay on the market for a very long time. And then people see it as a comparison, as this is how not to price your home, right? So there's so many different reasons why I think at least go for a consultation with a realtor and see what they can provide to you. And then compare that to how much you're going to have to put in yourself to sell that home on your own. So there's different factors that come into play. And also, I mean, sometimes there are agents that can lower their commission and still help you out. So there are different ways that you can tackle this. I think the best thing is to always be informed, really. So if you're thinking of selling on your own, it won't hurt to have a consultation with a realtor to see what they think first. And then see, okay, if it's not going to be that big of a price difference, maybe I will go with the professional who knows what they're talking about, who has the right connections and is able to best market my home from the start. Because once you start marketing that home, I mean, it's the first 2 weeks that really have the best opportunity to sell your home. If you market your home on your own and you don't do great those 2 weeks, your home will be stale on the market, right? So it's a lot of different factors, like I said, but the main thing is get as much information as you can. See if you can talk to a realtor about your home before you decide to just sell it on your own, because you may find that you'll get a better outcome with a realtor.
Lindsay, I got to ask you this. When you do sell your house and people do come to an open house, what is the first thing they really look at that gets their attention in a home, either in a house or a townhouse or a condo, etc.?
Oh, yes. Even before they step in the door, I want to say it's the outside. If the outside, your entrance is not cleaned up, if the bushes aren't trimmed, if there's garbage laying around, whether there's an open house or not, if they see that, they may just bypass it. So the first step is to clean up your yard. That is the first step. If you're able to, before you even do an open house, if you're able to, do some painting touch-ups, right? If your door is really scuffed, clean it. If it can't be cleaned, possibly a nice paint of your door, um, or the trims around the windows on the outside. That's the first step. And once those people see that it's, nice on the outside and they come into the door, a lot of people gravitate to the kitchen. That is the first place inside the home that people will look. Obviously, the living rooms usually come first, but what will capture people's attention is the kitchen. So I would say if ever you are going to invest any type of money in your home, it would be the kitchen first, and possibly the washrooms. But yes, people look at kitchen, and basically the landscaping is not as important, but that's what gets people into the door.
There was a gentleman here in Guelph about a year ago. I don't know him personally. He bought a house, but it became a news story because when he bought the house, there was renters and squatters in there, and apparently squatters have rights, and he had to spend a lot of money getting them out of the house and then having to gut the house. So I wanted to get your thoughts as a real estate agent about squatters and renters situations.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because there are so many people that are struggling out there, and I understand that some people just they have no other, I guess, option but to stay where they are when they're tenants. And it has become a big deal with landlords. It's the thing is, in order to get people to leave your home, if they're tenants, you do have to go through, the whole process. That means taking them to court. That process is a very long process, very long and tedious. And by the time that happens, your home could be in severe disrepair. So, my take on it is, if you are a landlord and thinking of putting your house up, to rent, make sure that you do the proper screening for those people, because you don't want to just get anyone in there who will maybe eventually go down that road where they can't pay anymore, but they also can't go anywhere else because they can't afford to. So they're stuck there and they feel like they have no other option. So that's my first piece of advice, is make sure those people are screened properly. Look at their credit score. Make sure that they have a stable job, get a employment letter, right? Those type of things will really help. Um, and if you are in a situation where you're a landlord and can't remove your tenants, there are people that can help. There are lawyers that can help you with that process. Of course, this is not free, but there are ways. It's a long process, unfortunately, because people do have the right to remain where they are until they're actually forced out by the courts, by, a judge. And there's so many cases like that, and it's everywhere, unfortunately, because so many people are hurting. So many people have lost jobs, don't have enough money coming in. It's just an unfortunate situation all around.
One thing also too, when you buy a home, you can buy the fanciest house as the nicest home, depending on the location. But one thing I wanted to bring up is your neighbors. Sometimes people, they can buy a nice home, but their neighbors are not the neighbors, I think, are just as important as the home itself as well, the location and your neighbors.
I agree. So the one thing that I will say, some realtors, and this is a practice that I would do, is I would door knock. I mean, I door knock, that's part of the job, but door knocking for your client in the neighborhood that they're thinking of moving in gives you so much information. Talking to the neighbors that are around that one home that your clients want to move into, it tells you a lot about the neighbors in the area, and also if the ones that are going to be right beside them are, going to cause any issues or not. So that is something that a good realtor will do for you. And I mean, it's also something that you can ask your realtor to do for you. You do want to make sure that the home that you're buying is in an area that is not going to cause you stress every time you leave your door. So that is one thing I could say that realtors can do. You can ask for them to door knock in that area, in that, immediate vicinity, and we can ask. I would ask the neighbors. So, I have a client who's thinking of moving right across the street. Can you tell me, what do you think of the neighbors in this area? Their immediate neighbors, what do you think of them? Or, have they Have they been easygoing people? Are they very much involved in the community? That those type of questions helps out a lot. And at the same time, it gives them, that neighbor, an understanding that, hey, as a realtor, you're doing your job as well. Not just, you don't just want to get someone in there. You want to make sure that you're getting them into the right areas. So yeah, that's something that realtors can do.
You want to make sure who's ever buying the home, it's a good fit, that neighborhood, because the people that are your neighbors, I think, are just as important as your home as well. And I'm sure you've seen it in the real estate agent where people have sold beautiful homes because of some neighbor issues.
I agree, definitely. There are people that unfortunately do can cause issues, especially when you're sharing either a driveway or a lawn. It's difficult, right? So you never know who you're going to have right beside you, and you have to live with these people for years. So definitely, yeah, get a realtor out there to do some nice door knocking investigations and see if you're going to be in the right area for you and your family.
Do your homework and do your research before you purchase a home.
Exactly, exactly.
Lindsay, if you've got a few more minutes, I just have a couple more questions I wanted to ask you. How did you end up with Jennifer Jones' team and the EXP Realty Realtor Brokerage? Sorry about that.
No problem. I know it's a mouthful. Yeah, so I actually started with EXP. That's the brokerage, and it's such a great brokerage. Actually, it's an online brokerage, all cloud based. And so because they're cloud based, I basically was working on my own from home at my desk. And because I came from an office environment, I'm very much of a team player. So I lacked a good support system, right? And being new to real estate and not having people that I can bounce ideas off of, or just, someone to talk about certain challenges, that was super challenging for me. Um and then at certain conventions that we had for EXP and around the neighborhood, I would see a lot about Jennifer Jones, and there was a lot of talk about her team. I actually met Jennifer Jones, Jennifer herself. I met her at one of these conferences, and she was so personable, so wonderful. And she even said to me, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And that same day, I remember going online and looking her up on Instagram, and I saw all her, Instagram posts, and she just seemed like such a breath of fresh air because she's the head of the Jennifer Jones team. And when you think of someone who has their name in the title of a team, you think, oh, it's someone that I can't really speak to, right? But she was the total opposite. And I was able to eventually get into, talking with her one on one. We had a coffee, and she basically described what her intentions are in building this real estate team, basically to support each other, but to help communities. And that is very much in line with my views, my values. I'm very much about helping the community and doing as much outreach to anybody I can out here. And so to me, it just felt like, okay, it's a good fit. And so ever since then, I've been with the Jennifer Jones team. It will be a year, I believe, in July. And it's just been a blessing to me. It has the team is just so encouraging, so supportive, and it's just been a total 360 from when I was trying to do this on my own. And so, yeah, that's it's a little bit about the Jennifer Jones team. If you ever have any questions, you can let me know, and I'll answer anything else you need about Jennifer Jones. But it's just a wonderful team to work with.
Lindsay, for those who are watching this live stream or on audio and they would like to buy their own home instead of renting, what would you say to people? Because right now I'm hearing a lot of stuff from people in general. I can't afford a home, the market's too high and stuff like that. What would you tell these people right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and I completely understand. It's unfortunately the circumstances economically have been challenging for the last 2 years, I want to say, or more. And, just the talk of other things like tariffs and all that, it just makes for a very unstable, situation all around. So I understand where people are coming from. The best piece of advice I can give is if you cannot purchase at the moment, try to save up as much as you can. Cut down on any costs that you can, like any Timmy's, Starbucks if you still go to
It adds
Starbucks.
it adds
Um,
up. It adds up.
oh yeah, I mean you don't see it because it's a little tap here and there, but it totally adds up, right? At the end, you have been probably like you could save up in a month. You could probably save up, 30, $40. But if you think about it, in a year, how much can you save? That's a ton of money. So that's my thing. Save as much as you can if you're not prepared to buy at the moment and you're still renting. Um, if you are in the position where you can buy and you find that perfect home, I suggest that that is when you go for it. um, there's never a perfect time, I want to say, for someone to buy a home unless they're prepared. So the only way to know if you're prepared is to get a pre-approval and know how much the bank will lend to you, and to make sure that you have enough set aside so that you can put down as a down payment, but also you have enough for incidentals and emergencies. So it's about budgeting, making sure that you put some aside, but at the same time, if you don't sit down and know exactly where your money is going, you'll never know how long it's going to take for you to prepare for that home purchase.
Lindsay, what are some pros and cons of owning and renting? I said leasing because I had car on my mind, but some pros and cons of owning and renting.
Yeah, definitely. And leasing is actually the technical term we use for real estate as well, for renting. But yeah, so the pros of owning. There are so many pros. It is something that you own yourself, right? And you can take pride in that. You can make any type of changes to that property. You don't have to ask anyone for help, or, well, not for help, but you don't have to ask anyone for their approval. So that, you can do changes to it to possibly add value to that home. So that is the pro, right? You can make certain investments into your home that will eventually just completely add that value that continues to grow in that home. You have the equity that's constantly growing. It's a massive pro. Um, so the con is, unfortunately, these things can be costly, right? Maintenance of a home can be costly. So that is a con, which is the reason why I said once you are prepared to purchase a home, make sure you have enough, not just for the down payment, you have to have enough set aside for anything that has to
Emergencies.
be exactly. Also maintenance, right? Maintenance that you may have to do as soon as you get in the event that you purchase a home that's lower valued, right? Because sometimes those lower valued homes do require some type of TLC. So there is that. But if you think about leasing, renting, right? Now, when you're renting, and I totally understand that not everybody can afford to make that purchase right away. But when you are renting a home, you're basically paying someone else's mortgage, right? So there is not much space there for you to save. The one thing I can say is if you are renting a property right now that you feel is big and spacious and it's a good fit for you. But if you're able to find something that is a bit smaller and you could save some money that you can put aside that will go towards your purchase, I would say downgrade from that larger, rental unit to a smaller one if you're able to for a year. You'd be surprised at how much money you can save in a year just by, changing where you are and putting that money aside, right? So, there is a pro and there's a con. You're able to save if you know how to do it and if you budget. Budgeting is a massive thing when you own property because even if you save money, right? Because you're budgeting and you purchase that home, you have to continue that budgeting, because if not, you're just going to be either house poor, or eventually you may have to sell your home because you just can't afford those payments. So budgeting is a major thing when you're planning to purchase a home. That's my piece of advice.
Now, I've seen this in the States, especially in New York City. Are you seeing this more in Barrie as well, where instead of one individual buying a home or a couple, you're seeing more families now living together in homes again? This what's the word I'm looking to share the costs of a house or a home these days?
Definitely. I think especially because it's so hard to get into the market, there are younger people who are, in their mid to late 20s who want to be able to purchase their own home. They just can't. They can't afford it. And they have had to just simply move back in with their parents to try to save up for that home. So definitely you see multi-generational homes out there, right? And I think because of the situation that we're in, it's just going to continue to happen more and more. You're going to be seeing, the moms that are living with their children up until they're possibly 30, who knows, because they can't afford to purchase at the moment. And it's just a fact of the matter at the moment. It's unfortunate, but that is what I've seen here as well.
How much has the internet, social media impacted real estate agency even over the past few years?
Oh, a ton. As you know, being on TikTok and all the social media platforms, that is how we get ourselves seen. That is how we are now advertising for the properties that we put up on the market. So it has a huge impact. And I think the way that we try to position ourselves also makes a big impact. There are agents who just, and I'm not trying to, poo-poo on anyone, but I think being able to talk to your audience helps a lot, because the person who's looking from the other side of that camera wants to see the type of person you are, to know if they can trust who you are, and you'll be able to help them on their journey, right? And if you're just posting sold signs, sold this house, sold that house, the person doesn't get to see who you are. Anyone could post that out there on their social media. So I think the most important thing is use social media for its advantage, which is to get your face out there, to be seen, to be heard. Have posts about what you're listing, but also posts that have some type of value. Like, how is it that you can improve your home, or to prepare for a listing? Things like that can help. And social media is the one thing that will help get that out there. It's no longer the days of newspapers where people will search through that and oh, here's a nice home. No, now it's like it's a competition on internet, unfortunately,
On
but that's the way of the world.
smartphones, especially in digital marketing, and you can create your own promos with your own phone and microphone. You don't need to be in a studio to do that anymore. It's changed quite a bit, and you're right. It used to be newspapers. Now you can do it online.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And before we wrap this up, I do this with all my guests. What are some fun facts about yourself, and maybe a fun fact about Jennifer Jones' team and EXP Brokerage?
Fun fact about myself. I don't know if it's so much of a fun fact, but I do love doing paint by numbers. Are you familiar with paint by numbers?
I've heard of it.
Oh, the best. I mean, it's a long process. You're basically painting beautiful pieces of art and just following the numbers. But at the end, you feel like this artiste that has created this beautiful piece of art. Meanwhile, you're just following numbers. That is my favorite thing to do. It also helps with like just de-stressing. Yeah, if you ever get a chance, I would say try it maybe once. You may like it, you may not, but for me, that is my thing to do. That is a fun fact, I guess. I love to dance. I once was very close to being part of a salsa competition, which is a lot, and I chickened out because I'm very much of an introvert person, especially when I was younger. So that is also something that not many people are aware of. And what was your second question?
A fun fact about Jennifer Jones' team
Oh,
or the XP Realtor Brokerage.
yeah, fun fact about them. We basically try to just encourage each other to do anything we can on social media that brings in attention to our clients. And so we do send reels or videos that were like, hey, we should do something like this. And we tend to help each other out on how to do it. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but making videos are super fun. I don't know if you've looked at the videos that I've been doing, but there are some that are super fun and just doing behind the scenes type of videos where it's like you're shooting inside the home, this tour, and then behind the scenes there's someone helping you open the doors, that people don't really get to see. That type of thing is fun. But yeah, just I think the best part of being part of a good team is that they are there to support you. And I can't say anything more than the Jennifer Jones team is such a great support system that it makes working with them just fun. It's not a tedious task. It's something that I think makes your job, even though I don't really consider this much of a job, but it just makes it that much more enjoyable and fun. And yeah, I think, yeah, I just love it.
And that's how we met, was through TikTok, because I saw one of your posts and I really liked that. And it's an impact. TikTok in a good way can be a really good impact for your media career or real estate career, whatever career you're in, if you use it the right way.
Definitely, 100%.
And I saw one of your videos today through a house with one of your, I don't know if it was coworkers or whatever, but you were shooting inside of a home, and I thought that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, I definitely love doing house tours. I try to go out there and do as many as I can because that's the thing though, right? With social media, people can just easily see what a home that you're listing will look like. It's not the same as if you're there in person, but it's pretty close to it. And you're doing this in the comfort of your own home. Who doesn't like that? And I think for me, I just love shooting videos of beautiful things. So it's like it works.
This technology really does shrink the world down.
It does. It does.
And finally, where can my audience follow you on social media, your website, and the best way of contacting you if they're looking to purchase or sell their home in the Barrie area?
Yeah, definitely. I could be found on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I am in Instagram under Barrie Ontario Realtor. My name, of course, Lindsay Benavides. On Facebook, I'm just as Lindsay Benavides. On TikTok, same thing. It's actually the Barrie Ontario Realtor again. And I am part of the Jennifer Jones team. So if you just go on www.jj.team, that's our website. You could find me in there. You can contact me by, text, call. I am available practically 24/7 because I love to help no matter what. And yeah, I'm glad to help whether you're in Barrie or outside of Barrie. But Barrie is and surrounding areas. That's my area, and I'm happy to help.
And do you have a question for the host?
I do. So, how long did it take for you to get this success, Chris?
I started in March of 2020, and I would say a couple years. I got on a radio station done remotely from home in Georgia for a couple years because somebody on social media liked my work. And then I ended up doing some media coverage of freelance media coverage for the Buffalo Bisons, the Blue Jays farm team, the Buffalo Bandits of the National Lacrosse League, and the Toronto Argonauts. So it took a couple years. I had to do a few media jobs for free, but I tell people, don't worry about the viewership right now. Just get good guests, good stories, and people will see you out there. When I first started this show 5 years ago, I couldn't get any guests on. And one of my friends from TSN kept watching me, gave me some
Mhm.
advice. I kept working at it. And then eventually I got one guest, and now I've had over 500 guests. And what I'm most proud about this show, it's not just sports. I didn't want to be stereotyped as a sports guy. I love sports, but this is a full talk show now. And I've had guests on from many different professions, different countries. And I just want to prove to the traditional radio stations that age is just a number and being self-taught is not a crime. And education just doesn't stop in the classroom. It's a lifelong process. And I just love doing what I'm doing. It's not work when you have a passion for something.
Oh, yes. I agree. I agree 1,000%. Age is just a number. You can restart at any time. As long as you find that okay, it's time. Because I think also you get to that point where it's like, okay, it's time for me to do something. It's time for that change. And when you just, believe in that and you're feeling in that gut and you go for it, yeah, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful change. So I'm so happy for your success.
And the same with you as well. And mindset is important because you're going to get people support you, whatever you do in a new career, but you're also going to get your naysayers, haters, skeptics, and you just have to believe in yourself because if you don't believe in yourself, then you're probably not going to be successful and nobody else will believe in you in the long term as well.
I agree. I agree.
Well, Lindsay, I want to say thank you for giving us over 70 minutes. I apologize for keeping you over an hour and 10 minutes, but it was a real pleasure speaking with you. And I want to say continued success in your career. And we'll definitely have to get down to Barrie this summer for a Baycats game and to check out Barrie as well, because I've driven by there, but I've never actually been in Barrie.
Yeah, you definitely need to come by and take a look at the lake and maybe hit the patio for some beer.
Absolutely, and I do like beer. So, and
Yeah,
I'm sure
same
Barry
here.
has, and I have some beer from Wellington Brewery. They were my sponsor, and hopefully they'll be back again as well. And always support local, basically support local wherever you are.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Thank you so much, Chris, for having me.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Give me a little bit of time today, and I will send you the video, the audio, and some reels and clips. And you have an open invite to come back on my show again in the future as a guest.
I would love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that concludes season 10, episode 28, overall 523 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And that was my guest, Lindsay Benavides, a real estate agent out of Barrie, Ontario. And before we wrap up this show, guys, check out Lindsay Benavides' YouTube channel, and I'm just going to play a little clip of her story into the real estate industry starting over 40, which I did with this career as well. So please check out her YouTube channel and let me know if you guys can hear the audio okay.
Hey, friends. So I've been asked a question that I think I'd like to share my answer with here for everyone to hear. Because it's something that I think would help others because it's a scary question. I've been asked what it's like to start a new career in your 40s. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, it was scary at first. It's scary to be put in a situation where you feel instability, where you're not sure what tomorrow is going to look like. But I can tell you that with those challenges, it actually has made me stronger. I've been able to just have more confidence in myself, believe that, I can build a life that I want to live now. And I'm happy to be able to living the life like I want to live. Not just your typical, you know, wake up and go to work. every day, basically, which is good. Don't get me wrong. Knowing that I have a paycheck that I can expect, every 2 weeks is awesome because you don't have to worry about that. But right now, I am at the point in my life where I have the opportunity to just make the life I've always wanted to have. And so I guess my whole point to this is it can be scary, not knowing that, your future is certain because you're basically doing it for yourself now. At least for me, working for myself, I'm not really working for anyone. So having, an unforeseen future can be daunting, but I also know that I can do it. I'm having more confidence in myself. I am putting myself out there. I'm basically just building the life that I've always wanted and learning from people as I go along. The main thing would be for me to say is have an open mind and learn to accept what other people give you as advice, even if it is challenging and you think you can't do it. The best thing I would say for myself at least, is I just put myself out there. I try not to let the doubts take over. I try to have a positive mindset, and just basically go with it. That's all I can say. And, there are times where I feel like I could have done things better, but those are all learning opportunities that I think will only make me better. It helps me grow, and I'm just able to, realize how resilient I can be if I'm put in situations that I thought before I wasn't, I could be incapable of being able to surpass. But I have learned so much from this. They do say that things change completely in your 40s. For me, that's a definite. I didn't think down the road that I was going to basically be having my own career and doing things on my own. And that's how it's been for me. And you know what? I am happy. I am grateful. I have so much gratitude because I was able to do that. Not everyone has the opportunity. I have such a great support system, and I am so thankful that for the people who have been supporting me throughout my journey. And I can finally see that I have a bright future. I just know that I need to be consistent because I have only myself to be accountable. No one is there telling me that I have to clock in or I have to do things a certain way. It's all up to me. But at the same time, that gives me that bit of push, knowing that I have to do this on my own. And I can, because I see how I am growing, and I could see that it's just going to continue to improve from here on. So basically, it's a long video, but I just wanted to let everyone know, hey, it's possible. It's not the end of the world. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And yeah, just keep following me for, to see how this path goes for me. And I will be talking to you guys at another time. Take care. Bye.
That clip was courtesy of Lindsay Benavides' YouTube channel. So please check out her YouTube channel and hit the subscribe notification like I have as well. And also, guys, if you're in the Barrie area and you're looking to purchase a home or rent, please check out Lindsay, the sales representative at the Jennifer Jones team, or EXP Realty Brokerage, 705-999-5877, or Lindsay Benavides at jj.com. team. Information is down there as well. So I want to say thank you again to Lindsay for coming on here today and talking to us about her story and about the latest trends going on in the real estate market as well. So again, if you're in the Barrie area, please check out Lindsay, and I have all her information here as well. Before we wrap up this show, guys, the next live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by BarrieCullen.com on Monday, April 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 on the West Coast. With my special guest, Shauna Scarreno. She is a licensed professional clinical counselor based out of the Los Angeles, California area. So please check out my next show on Monday night, April 14th, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 on the West Coast with Shauna Scarreno, again, a licensed professional clinical counselor out of the LA area as well. For those people that have businesses that are looking to advertise on live streaming, such as my shows, please contact me at cpame19@gmail.com or DM me on my social media places as well. I do have 43 countries around the world listening to this show right now, and I do have over 354,000 viewers on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in coming aboard live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show as a sponsor, please either email me at my cpame19@gmail.com or DM me on my social media pages as well. And before I wrap up our show, guys, it is Truck Month at Barrie Cullen Chevrolet Dealership. A 2025 Silverado LD Custom Trail Boss. Finance at 0% for up to 72 months. That's right, 0% finance. More details at barriecullen.com or drop by the dealership again at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. And Barrie Cullen Chevrolet Dealership is a proud sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And finally, guys, I am on Cameo. If you'd like to book a personalized video message from yours truly, birthday wishes, pep talk, greetings, or want to ask me questions about my talk show and my media work, check out cameo.com/Chris Palme. And also, I want to say thank you to everyone watching this on live stream today. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, and available on all major audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Good Pods. And before we wrap up this show, guys, you'll know I do dog walking twice a week at the Cambridge District Community Society. If you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge and District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0. Or you can visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the animals up for adoption, their profiles are on that website. And if you're looking to volunteer like myself, you can fill out a volunteer application form at cambridgehumanesociety.org. And right now, they are looking for puppy wet dog food or puppy food. I'm going to go over this again. They are looking for wet food for puppies, cat food, dog food. If you've got bedding, towels, cat litter, dog treats, cat treats, or cash donations, please consider helping them out at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. And they're also doing a 50-50 draw right now. Their next one is in June, and you can get tickets through their website and click on events as well. And also in the Cambridge District Humane Society, once a week has a pet emergency fund. If you're in Cambridge, in the Cambridge area, and you're financially having some struggles right now with the cost of the food, you can they actually ask if you have some cat food, dog food, or cash donations to bring down there to help with people that are struggling right now. So please check out their pet emergency fund every Wednesday at the Cambridge Humane Society. If you're able to make a cash donation or a food donation of cat food or dog food, pet food, that would be greatly appreciated. And that is about it, guys. Again, I want to say thank you to my wonderful guest, Lindsay Benavides, real estate agent out of Barrie, Ontario, for coming on here today. And I hope everyone has a great afternoon, great weekend. I am off to Kitchener tonight to watch the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans take on the Windsor Express in Game 3 of the Basketball Super League Finals as well. So check out my social media pages for pictures, videos, and maybe an interview or two as well. Even though technically I'm going as a fan, I always like to create content as well. And that is about it. So thank you again to Lindsay Benavides for coming on, and to Barrie Cullen Chevrolet for sponsoring this show. And we'll see you back here Monday, April 14th at 8 p.m. with my special guest, Shauna Scorino, again, a licensed professional clinical counselor based out of Los Angeles, California. Enjoy your weekend, everybody, and we'll see you back here Monday night.